I got in a fight with a dude on the Facebooks because
Because you love
he
Jesus.
no um because somebody made a meme or a graphic that had all the iterations of Jason Todd.
And didn't have that one?
I said, sir, you left out the fact that he was Nightwing and the fact that he was Red Robin. He says
Yum.
he said that you're thinking of Dick Grayson. I'm like, actually, no, I'm not. Here's the issue numbers. Please and thank
Uh,
you. I was
oh
like,
gosh.
the first issue arc immediately after 1 year later, Red or Jason Todd was Nightwing, and Nightwing had to fight him for it. And then the entire second half of the countdown run, Jason Todd was Red Robin.
What,
So
the 52 countdown?
the countdown that came after 52.
Ah, I've got the 52 and I don't remember that countdown to 52. So it's the 52 after. So
Yes.
much
So
52.
Better put the word out. Get ready for the nerd out. Better put specs on. Better bring next song. I cut handsome checks for my expansion sets. They call me Obi-Wan. Act like you know me, son.
greetings, valuable pull listeners. Welcome to the Pull List Podcast, your bi-weekly source for comics, pop culture, and fate. I am Hector Mirai, and joined with me today is the effervescent, if that's the right way to say that word,
Yeah.
Todd Turner.
Fizzing over with
Yes,
excitement.
that's
It's
Todd.
like I'm like an Alka-Seltzer for your comics.
That doesn't sound like a good way to take care of your comics.
Plop, plop, fizz, fizz, yo.
Jesse Pinkman. Um, that's Jesse Pinkman sells Alka-Seltzer. Um, But welcome to the Pool List Podcast. We're here on the Love Thy Nerd Network, and you can check out this podcast along with lots of other podcasts from everything from wrestling to comics to fate to video games to nerd history. Lots of cool things for you to check out. You can check them out on the Love Thy Nerd podcast channel on YouTube, the Glue Network on your Roku, and lots of other places. And so we're here to be with you and tell you about what's been going on. So you got some comic book news, Todd?
I do. And I figured you would have this.
I probably do too, but roll with it, bro.
I listen, next year we get all the creators back. So Jim Lee and Jeff Loeb doing Batman.
Yes.
So
2025, we get the team that brought you Hush
back.
back.
Is it going to be new number one? Nobody knows. Interesting
Probably.
thing is that Batman right now is supposed to be every other week. And because they want to have this new run come out at the right time, they have now started pushing back Batman books to where like we get one now, then we're going to get one in 3 weeks, then we're going to get one in a month, then we're going to get one in 2 months. And then it's basically the every other week is not going to be every other week anymore. So Chip Zdarsky's run will be ending sometime in I think maybe February of 2025. And then after that, I believe we get these guys, which means Jim Lee is not drawing the James Gunn book.
The
And
Superman one, yeah.
it is not going to be Superman. It is Peacemaker. We should have known, right?
Yeah.
With Tim
I'm kind of
Seeley
disappointed in
and
that.
Mitch Gerards.
Ooh.
So, yeah,
Ooh.
might be pretty cool.
And that's the thing.
Uh,
I've not seen James do a Peacemaker comic. Because I'll say this, Peacemaker comics are pretty freaking grim.
Yeah,
Um,
they're like they have like you think there's going to be a little bit of hope in there, and then they just pull the rug out from underneath you.
it's just like so bleak. Like absolutely so bleak. I don't enjoy it.
Well, are you excited for? Do you think we get a Hush sequel?
I don't even care if it's a Hush sequel, bro. Um, Here's why. Now, maybe, and if there's anybody I want to give me a proper Hush sequel, it's them. But I will say this: the Heart of Hush sequel that Dustin Nguyen did, uh, was pretty fire.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I
And
did
now,
enjoy Heart of Hush.
And now we got Shush, right? Remember? Batman
Yeah.
and Robin gave us Shush.
Yeah, there was that.
So what about Jeff Loeb, man? He's doing like the long last Halloween, and now, I mean, he's just Batmaning it up, isn't he?
Yeah, and here's the thing. I'm going to enjoy that. I've got that on my pull list.
All
I
right.
enjoyed the first one. So yeah, I enjoyed it.
All right. Good deal.
Also, in comic-esque news, we got casting of a new Green Lantern today, or this yesterday. Do you know his name? It's Pierre, right?
Pierre something. I don't know who he is, but he's going to be James Stewart.
John
right?
Stewart.
Not Jimmy Stewart. Jimmy Stewart.
Well, some people you say John Stewart and they think, the Daily Show.
No, I'm doing Clarence. Jimmy Stewart. Sorry. It's a wonderful life. It's a wonderful life.
Yep. There's that. No, there's been a decent amount of nerdy news, not necessarily comic related in a lot of areas.
Rob Liefeld
is
returning to Youngblood in 2025.
Oh.
After he had this big old deal with, the dude that bought it and then basically screwed him over and everything.
That's right.
He said, I'm never doing nothing. He's coming back for Image and doing a Youngblood comic in 2025.
By the way, it's Aaron Pierre.
Aaron Pierre.
Aaron Pierre is the dude that's going to be Green Lantern.
Will you read the new Youngblood?
I would not read the old Youngblood. I can't remember the last time I intentionally read a Youngblood book ever. So no, I don't think that's going to be a thing.
Okay, so I don't know if this is news or not. It depends. Is this in your pulls? I Know What You Did Last Crisis.
Yes, that's in my pulls.
But then we won't talk about it till then. We'll keep on that. By the way, Super Babies won their lawsuit against Marvel and DC.
Yep.
Marvel and DC has now lost the 50-year hold on the term superheroes because of Super Babies, the book out of like England or something. I love it, man.
So does that mean that they own the trademark or just Marvel and DC no longer do?
Now it's open. I guess anybody can. I don't know. You know what? As far as I know, it just means that they don't own the trademark. Surely they don't own the trademark. I'm betting that it just anybody can use it. Somebody might own it.
Somebody probably does own it.
Hector. I don't know. I think that the lawsuit was the fact that says you can't trademark a term or a word or something. I guess you can, but I don't know. I did not do enough journalistic investigating to decide what that was.
I'm not that stage of my day yet, so.
Okay, yeah.
Like that's normally Thursdays at 2 a.m. is when I'm screenshotting news articles, so it ain't yet.
So tune back in for the late night edition.
No, that's just when I'm doing my research. Then I get up at the crack of early and sludge through my little news report.
I have something that I sort of want to get off my chest that's maybe newsworthy. I don't know if it is or not.
Go ahead.
But of course, Marvel has relaunched all the X titles. We've talked about this.
Yeah.
The From the Ashes books. Apparently, and I know this just because I read it, that they're going to be publishing Marvel Unlimited compilation of Marvel Unlimited books in 2025 that's going to explain a whole lot of stuff that happened in between the fall of Krakoa and these new books. So, like, if you don't have Marvel Unlimited, which I do not, you don't know why Magneto's in a wheelchair, what Omega Red's been up to, what happened, what is Professor Xavier's secret. So these are all stories that are extremely relevant to what's going on in the X titles, and you have to literally have Marvel Unlimited in order to know it. which just makes me so flippin' mad at the X books again.
I give
I-
zero poops, man.
But I want to like
None.
them.
Listen, I'll listen. I'll enjoy Gail Simone writing something and call it a day. Um, like because what's happened with Hickman's run and everything for a long time is I'll start it, I'll enjoy it until I can, and then I stop because they do too much.
Yeah, it's so.
I
Yeah,
don't feel like the X-Men universe in comics or movies has had a solid rudder in a long time. As if in the world of like the Deadpool and Wolverine movie, they
Mhm.
don't have an anchor, and they
No.
have been adrift. And as scary as a concept of it is, Deadpool has been the only consistent thing in the X-Men universe for at least 8 years.
When the first X-Men movie came out, I waited 5 hours for my computer to download the trailer so I could watch it in the year 2000 with my dial-up, which means I couldn't take phone calls or anything. There you go. That's how old
Well,
I am.
I get it. I lived in a Bible camp. So at that point in time, so like in the woods pre high speed internet, and I remember watching that in theaters and
Mhm.
fresh out of the Phantom Menace and Wild Wild West and everything. So trust me, I get it.
I like Wild
Um
Wild West, by the way.
I did too. It was very fun for what it was.
Exactly.
That's the where the giant spider from the Superman movie ended up.
Yes. Isn't that yeah. And if you watch the horrible Flash movie, it's in there
Yeah.
at the end with Raising Arizona, Nicolas Cage himself,
Yep.
H.I. McDonough.
It's
Tell him he's
bananas.
a fool, Ed. Hey, I got one more thing. So
Go for it.
I don't know if it's not really news. Maybe it is news, but I got a new game. Todd, I'll just watch Turner and never play. And it is called Comic Hunters. If you're watching on the Glue Network or on the tube of the U's, you can see this is what the cover looks like. This game is a card drafting game where you go to the store, you go to the flea market, you go to the convention, and you go to the auction site to try to collect and make the best comic book collection. And the cards, they're broken into three different types, like modern, golden age, and newer, the 80s, 90s, and then like silver age or whatever. And I'll show you just like one of the cards, for example, is this Spider-Man. They're literally covers, and they have different icons on them, like a versus or a first appearance or new costume or something of that nature. And as you go through the different types of way to draft your cards, you are creating a comic book collection. And you have to buy comics, sell comics, and auction comics. And at the end, whoever did the best job wins the game. It literally is right now, I think it's a Barnes and Nobles exclusive, but it's only like $25. So the game pieces aren't the best quality, but you can buy some little things to make them a little bit better. But I had a blast, and the graphics are great. The cards are fantastic. They're literally comic covers. The thing is that they only used some of the characters that have been made famous in the Marvel movies. And I'm sure it has something to do with licensing, but they have the sky's the limit on this. Like they could have expansions for everything. You could do baseball cards, you could do Yu-Gi-Oh cards, you could do albums, records, anything to create a collection and how you go about getting the different ones. But yeah, if you like games, especially drafting games, this is really fun. We played it the first time, my wife and my son and and I won by 2 points. That makes
Wow.
it even better. The inaugural game won by me.
So that's why it's a good game.
That's why it's a great game. Yeah, Comic Hunters, a lot of fun for 1 to 4 players, ages 12 or 14 and up, or if you got a smart kid, That's it. That's all I got. What do you got, man? You got anything else?
That's about all my news. I need to go through, but yeah, it's about where it's at.
There's other news I got, but I think I'll wait until we actually get the Wonder Woman book comes out and we get to talk about what happens to uh, Steve Trevor in that book when it comes out. It'll be in it'll be in somebody's pool.
It will be.
All right, man.
All right. Well, strap yourselves in and get ready because we've got comics. Todd, what is your first pull of the week?
All right, so Hector and I have no clue what each other's pulling. So
because we're both polite and people pleasers. And we're like, no, you take the good book. You take the good book. So neither of us would tell each other. So
yeah, but I'm not choosing one because I told him he could choose that one.
Okay.
My first book is called The Manchurian by Image, #1.
Okay.
This is an interesting thing. This is called the Horizon Experiment. It is a series of one-shots that are going to be coming out where they take someone from a different ethnic background and have them do in a spot that is normally someone else's wheelhouse. This is basically James Bond, but what if it were a Chinese person? And it literally looks how this would look like in Chinese culture. Like, how would you work that? How would you be a spy for China? And it's literally more about corporate espionage and not so much, the James Bond like you would think. They say it's like becoming friends with good people and getting them to say 3 secrets when they should only say 2. And that's how this book ends up. It's really good. It's by the guy who did The Good Asian.
I was gonna ask if this was from him. Yeah.
But then there's gonna be a Muslim ghost hunter is gonna be one of them. Or I think that's what it is. Yes. There's gonna be the best one I can't say on here. It comes out in December and it's about monsters. But it's gonna look at they're all one shots. They're basically considered an experiment to see how well they're received, and they may become ongoing stories. And this one's great. It was drawn by Terry Dodson, so the art is gorgeous. The story was really good. I'm looking forward to see what there's going to be 4 more. And so the next one that comes out is called The Sacred Damned, and that is a Muslim occultist. So yeah, that's my first book. I'd really recommend it. It's really good. It's something I had to ask my comic book shop to order. They didn't have any in there at all. I was like, do you have that? And they're like, no. So they ordered it for me, and I think I got it maybe 2 weeks late, but it was still a first print. So yeah.
One of the things that annoyed me is that I called my comic shop, said, hey, do you have this book and this book? One of them was The Moon is Following Us. Mm-hmm. And they said, no, we don't have that. I walk in a day or so later, it's on the shelf.
Really?
And I just
was it a second printing?
No.
Okay, well, here's the deal with that. Image had issues with printing, and it put back a bunch of their books. I meant to mention this the last time we met for news, but didn't. And The Moon is Following Us is one of them. A lot of stores didn't get their issues.
Oh.
They actually came later. I had to order that book. I had to get it off eBay. I couldn't get it because they're already now into 3rd printings of that, I think.
Wow.
I know. It's crazy.
Okay.
Anywho,
there you go.
Yeah.
So my first book, and I know it's always moderately a cheat when I do this, is the volume 39 of My Hero Academia. This is
I had that one to do.
Did you?
No, heck no. I did not. Although you would be proud of me, I am reading anime.
Good. You're reading manga.
Yeah, that. Yeah, I'm watching anime, which
There
I'm
you
not. I'm reading manga. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks. Help the old guy. Get off my lawn. Anyway,
I think this is the word where you call it the penultimate,
penultimate.
penultimate, the next to last book.
Yeah, I'll just call it the next to last book.
Yeah, the penultimate. It's that this is the next to last book in the My Hero Academia series. And one of the crazy things that I've seen is they are giving the animators all the content before they release it in book form and print so that they can release the anime at the same time
Ooh,
as the manga. So this book came out on October 1st. Okay.
right.
On October 1st, this dropped. The fully animated episode of this, or at least a good chunk of this, was out by the 3rd. Like, they had already animated this thing and had it in the can ready to drop when the book dropped.
They were just holding on to it.
Just holding on to it. So I guess it's kind of in tandem because I think
That's pretty
they
cool.
it is cool, but I was just like, I'm seeing like clips on TikTok and I'm like, hold on, I just read that. That's new. Now, they do release this in like a magazine format, but even in the time between it releasing on a magazine format and in here is only a couple months. So
Hmm.
that's still not
How
uh
does it normally go, Hector? Normally the manga comes out, then the anime comes out,
yeah.
correct?
If the manga will come out and a lot of times the entire manga run will finish
Right, before they even
start on it. But if they can tell they've got a big ticket item, if they've got something that's
Mhm.
you know, lightning in a bottle, they'll get cracking on it. The fact that My Hero Academia caught up with itself because it was, I want to say, 9 or 10 volumes deep before they started an anime, and
Yeah,
now
but it
they've
just took off.
just took off. The same way with a Demon Slayer. Demon Slayer is going to finish its print run. It's already finished. Demon Slayer will finish its print run possibly 5 years before all of its animated content is out.
Hmm.
Um, because Demon Slayer, I want to say, finished its print run 2 years ago.
Mhm. And
Uh,
One Piece will never be finished.
well, you know about the reboot, right?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and I don't think I could financially imagine because let's just say each volume is, $10. That's just too much, dude. That's
That's
too much.
a lot of money. Well,
That's a
what
lot of money.
happens in this?
So this primarily uh focuses on 2.5 battles. Because we're down to the literal final climax of everything. Um, and I'm gonna reread this because I've got some stuff in the doc before I would write about this. But one of the things is, are you familiar with the storyline at all?
Do you have a box of shame, books that you should have read and you haven't read?
No,
Yeah,
no, no.
I'm
Books, chapters I haven't written.
Oh, okay. Oh,
That's what
okay,
I
gotcha.
have. I have a
Gotcha.
list of stuff
Things
I
you
need
want
to
to write
write.
about. Gotcha.
Yeah.
I'm mildly, yes. I know about the school, about the All Might, and now Deku has like superpower, and then the bad guy with the thing on his face and
Okay. So
with a hand on
fast
his face.
fast forward
Mildly.
2 or 3 years of timeline.
Hmm.
Uh, the big bad, All for One,
Yes.
has basically imprinted himself into the kid with the things on his face, and he's taking over his body.
Okay.
And all the other bad guys are basically uh ending up against their counterparts
Sort of
for the
like
big.
sort of like Street Steve Trevor did in that second Wonder Woman movie.
Yes,
Sorry, keep going. To bring it up, didn't I?
but yes. Oh my gosh, so horrible. Um, but yes, that's what they're doing. But they're down to the point where have you met the character Dobby? He's the one that's got like purple up to
Yes.
it. Okay.
Hmm.
That is Icy Hot's brother. Shoto Todoroki.
Yeah, I don't know who that one is.
The one who can do fire and ice.
Okay,
He's
yes.
got
All
the
right.
little
Hmm.
Zuko
Yes.
eyeball thing.
Hmm.
Um that's his brother. Um And they have one of the ongoing themes of the entire storyline is how horribly abusive and splintered their family is.
Oh, that's sad.
And um the story basically just boils down to he wants to kill his dad while
Oh,
everybody watches.
snap. We need some family therapy.
And so basically, as I think it's been out far enough and it's going to be on TV already. Um, the short version is like this dude can heat himself to the level of a sun and he wants to burn his father alive.
Oh my
And
gosh.
so the
TV
rest of
14.
yeah, the rest of the family uh sacrificially throws themselves with cooling powers around them and they're all burning alive to keep that from happening. It's literally the concept is just like they finally take the time to connect and it's to prevent each other from fully killing each other. And there's just this moment where they're all just laying there and like imagine what would have happened if we just like talked years ago.
Mm. So
They're
is there some reconciliation, Hector, or no?
they're in a pile.
Okay, we don't know yet.
They're in a pile and there's some conversations to be had. But it's probably one of the most heartwarming but also incredibly toxic things that's in that storyline at all. Ba-ding.
No. Well, family's hard.
It is hard. And that's one of the big elements. I lost the crowbar. Um it's one
This
of the
is
big
what
elements.
that's the name of the pod. That's the name of the episode.
Yep.
I lost a crowbar.
One of the other things is there's this young lady, the blonde,
Gotcha. Hmm.
the shapeshiftery girl. There's a big battle between her and Ochaka, the girl who makes things float. But it's less of a battle and more like let's talk about your self-esteem and how you have value.
Oh, okay.
So she's like,
We're all for this.
and so she's like, I'm gonna love you while you attempt to murder me. And she's like, I'm gonna tell you how you have value and worth. And she's literally like loving her in the midst of like punctures and stuff. And
Oh,
it's pretty brutal. And then you get down to an All Might versus All for One fight, with All Might in an Iron Man suit.
why not?
Why not?
Yeah, got to
Um,
get the mech suit out.
yeah, because he's powerless and so and barely functional. So I think it's all just a distraction or whatever. But so the whole book is literally just those three flights interweaving, and
Interweaving.
and it was good. I mean, the stuff with the toxic family elements was probably potent enough to make it to the best thing I read this week. But yeah, it's definitely in there. What else you got?
Wow. Well, this is the Terminator, issue 1 by Dynamite,
Okay.
written by Declan Shelvey.
Now
Uh,
is this the company that's doing Transformers now?
no, Transformers is in Image now.
That's in Image. Okay.
Yeah, they're doing all the like the Disney villains, like the Mufasa and all that kind of stuff. And
Gotcha, gotcha.
um, no, this is their relaunch. There's like 9 million covers. I literally had to go through and find what is cover A. It was so hard to find. So there's two stories in this. There's a smaller story, which is going to be in I guess continue throughout it, and then there's a primary like a one shot story. It's very much feels like an anthology type book
Okay.
where it might be different each time. So basically, what's happened is they're sending Terminators back in different times to kill resistant leaders or parents of people who will have children that will be the resistance. And the first story starts with an older couple in like up in Alaska on a lake, hidden, very much like what was that movie with Tom Cruise where they like made 700 clones of him and they tried to destroy the world. Anyway, um, in that movie, had like a little cabin on the lake. So this is where they are, and he's fishing, and the older wife is doing dishes, and a Terminator comes up out of the water and they're like, oh my gosh, they found us. And then it's interesting because the story shifts to the past and how they came together and what the issue is with the Terminator and how they tried to get away from him, and it goes back and forth between them trying to escape now and um her burning stuff so that the Terminator won't see what they did or like the children they had or whatever. It goes back and forth between their encounter with this Terminator when they were young and their encounter with this Terminator when they're older. And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good story. I will probably pick it up again when it comes back out because I really liked it just to see, um, exactly what they're playing with here. But that was a definite contained story. And then, like I said, there was a second, like a backup story that wasn't as big, and it's definitely going to be continued in the next book. So I think that's what we're going to get. We're going to get a standalone story and then a continuing story in the background. So yeah, art was good. Story was great. I'm for it. Terminator.
On the Terminator note, did you see the recent anime that dropped on Netflix?
I did not. No.
So there is a Terminator story that drops, and it dropped on Judgment Day. I don't know if you realize this, but the actual Judgment Day
No, I didn't
was
realize that. That was pretty cool though. Very clever.
August 29th, 2025 or 2024 is Judgment Day.
I was in
Italy.
Italy. My
Yeah.
bad.
But that was actual from day one original timeline. This year was Judgment Day.
Oh gosh. Well, we're pretty close.
Yeah, we're pretty close.
I mean, we can't tell. I mean, I'm sure I'm trying to be nice to the computers and robots because I want to be on the good side.
So one of the elements that we don't necessarily see in the Terminator franchises is the AI element,
Mm.
because
Mm-hmm.
a lot of it is just cybernetics, which is a different
Right.
world than
Right.
that. And
Artificial
so
intelligence. Mm-hmm.
uh there is a character that creates the most powerful version of an AI in hopes that it will choose humanity over the machines.
Hmm. It works in every movie I've ever seen.
And so that's the storyline is you've got a resistance fighter, you've got a Terminator, you've got some time travel, but you've got Jeffrey Wright.
Oh yeah, I know who Jeffrey Wright is.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
he's the guy who creates the AI. So
The Watcher.
he spends the entire series trying to talk this AI into choosing
Loving
humanity.
people.
Yeah. And then Timothy Oliphant is the Terminator.
Oh wow.
Um, and then I want to say Rosario Dawson is the AI.
Holy cow. So these are all voiced by these people. That sounds
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right.
And there's some really good action. It's a good storyline. I watched the whole thing in one sitting. uh, but it's maybe 8 episodes.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's one of those I stayed up till 3 in the morning watching it, but it was a good storyline. So yeah.
Terminator.
So
I
that
just
was
want
your
to say
second
that
book?
That was my second book.
Okay.
What do you got, Hector? Surprise me. I told you I'm picking ones that you will not have. So, and
Yeah.
I even have backups sitting here just in case. At the end, I'm going to say what my backups are.
Okay. I'm gonna pick one that is not a pick real quick.
What does that mean?
It's one I'm say, hey, I bought this. I shouldn't have. I apologize.
Oh, bag and board.
No, not even
We read
that.
it. We read it so you don't have to.
Yes. This is I'm gonna burn this in the backyard. I'm
Okay.
not even
I hope
kidding.
it's not one of my picks because this would be
I'm
terrible.
I'm like the creeping below.
It is not one of mine.
This is a Brian Azzarello book.
Okay, I did see it. I picked it up, flipped through it, and put it back. Yeah, it's up by Boom Studios, right?
Yeah, I didn't even flip through it. I just like Azzarello #1. Boom, let's give it a shot. The entire thing is a girl following a musician around, who is literally taking her to the woods to sacrifice her to Satan.
Oh yeah. That sounds like
that is the
so much
literal
family fun right there.
plot of a woman meeting a man on the street, following him to a bar where he performs in a language that she doesn't understand. They get drunky, they go out into the woods, and he sacrifices her to Satan.
Oh my gosh. Kids, do not try this at home
Don't try this at home. And
ever.
I was reading this, I was like, is this all this is? Is this really just what he okay? I'm like, so there's that one.
All right. That's a garbage one.
That is a do not
Okay,
disturb
do
book.
not get.
And it's like, here's the deal. I can deal with some devil stories and stuff, but I was just like, this is literally just like, hey kids,
Yeah, that's
sacrifice your
crazy.
friends in the woods. Um, just because you said you don't have any of this particular flavor, I'm gonna go with Daredevil for the
Okay.
fact it was. Is it the best Daredevil? No. Is it the best Daredevil in this run? No. Um, but what I did really like about this is, the last issue we picked up of where Wilson Fisk wanted to repent and Daredevil ran away, and it seemed like a really
Yes.
ridiculous concept. Well, the deal is that we unveil in this issue is the fact he had a spiritual panic attack at that moment because he realized he's not a real priest. That God gave him some fast forward magic pass where he just granted that on him, but he wasn't living it out. He wasn't being who he was called to be. He
Right.
wasn't living.
Daredevil wasn't correct.
Daredevil wasn't.
Hmm.
And he was in the place of, I'm not who you gave me the life to be. He's like, and he officially renounces being a priest because he's not living up to the standard of what God's called him to. And for
Right.
that alone was like, you know what, I'll take that. But then there comes a point where Elektra sneaks in his window after he's had his crisis of conscience.
Correct. Hmm.
And he says, I missed you so much. And he reaches out to touch her, and look at this face of just
She's
like,
like,
don't
uh-uh.
touch me. And
Yeah.
she says this, um, when I needed that touch, you left me alone. Now you feel lonely, and I suppose I'm just supposed to forget that. And what if you're wrong again tomorrow? What if God speaks to you and tells me to leave me again? Just can't trust you. Not now. Not about this. I'm like, dang, homie.
I
And
know.
uh, I've like this rang really deep for me. Just in some of the dialogue portions, and then even in the process when he was renouncing his priesthood, there was like a passage that this is
Yeah,
like,
he doesn't renounce his faith.
no, not his faith, just
Mm-mm.
being a priest.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not a priest. Yeah, I'm
Um,
pretending basically. He's in a costume, really.
because he says, I'm he said, community with the church is part and parcel of the priesthood, but other than my friendship with Javi, I've been an island in myself. I'm a lost sheep, not a shepherd, so I've decided to stop pretending.
Mm, gosh,
Um,
that's good.
right? But then he
Yeah.
says this, you've opened my eyes enough to know that all isn't lost for me, to understand that you won't forsake me no matter how far I've fallen. But to be worthy of that grace, I need to be more honest. And the honest truth is, I feel like I've been playing dress up these past months.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah.
He says, the collar hasn't kept me from wreaking violence. It hasn't kept me from betraying friends. It hasn't changed the way I feel when I'm near Electra. And then he makes this one statement as he puts his hand on the cross. He says, I'm unequal to the task you have set before me. I know that I'll have to answer for that when my time comes. But while I'm still in this fallen world, I won't lie to you any longer. I won't pretend to be a man of God, but I vow that I still serve you.
So I think we all feel that way sometimes, Hector. And I
No, and
think
that's literally why I was clicking with this one.
yeah. I mean, literally, how many I I don't feel like I'm up to the task. I think sometimes when we feel like we're up to the task, we ain't on the right task.
No, yeah. When we can
But
do this in our own strength, we're doing the wrong test.
yeah, exactly. This is what Saladin Ahmed is the guy um who's writing this, I think. I don't know what his faith journey is. I'd like to sit down and talk to the dude.
Well, I can say this: he's dramatically improved his faith
Oh yeah,
content
the first two
from,
books of this was terrible.
from issue 1 to issue 14 is a world better.
A world better, yeah. And
Um,
another interesting part of this book is the fact that Wilson Fisk had a genuine experience because there's a huge power vacuum. Because they even mention that in this book. Because
that Wilson Fisk has become a Bible thumper.
yes,
I can't wait for the next issue to see this. Wilson Fisk holding a Bible. That's what I'm here for.
I don't know if that'll happen.
Did you see the cover for the next book?
No, I haven't seen it. Is that what it
It's
is?
him on his knees with his hands up.
Oh man, I hope they don't. I don't know. It could turn out to be absolutely horrible. We're really praising it. And then I know Wilson Fisk, we're going to have a heel turn. I get it. I just hope they treat it well. You know what I mean? All right.
Yep.
Okay. Well, my next book is, this is all for you, Chris Poirier. All for you. It is Minor Arcana. This is issue 2. This is from Boom Studios and Jeff Lemire. This is his new ongoing, the first ongoing book, he says, since Sweet Tooth. They've already planned out 4 hardback graphic novels, so this is planned out for a while.
That's
this
pretty
is
deep.
It is pretty deep. This is a story of like a 20-something, maybe upper 20s, young girl who comes back to her hometown, hates it, because her mom is dying and her mom needs her to help her, basically. And her mom is literally the town psychic. Like if you drive through a little town and you see one of those signs where it says, come in for a reading,
there's one at the end of my street.
there you go. That's what this is. So, and the daughter's like, you're a fraud. You've got these people that you're doing all this stuff with or whatever. Well, her mom, like, in the first episode, passes out on the couch, and one of her mother's loyal customers comes in and wants her to do a reading. So the daughter says, yeah, I'll do it. I'll do the tarot cards. And so she starts doing the cards and this reading. And then at the end of the first issue, she like disappears into another world type thing. And then this issue is where she went. She literally goes to a place where this lady is very old that she's reading for. This guy is like maybe in his 20s or 30s. They had been married for like 6 or 7 months, and he's been waiting there for her until she passes over. And so she literally has an experience with someone from the dead. And she's like, this isn't right. And she comes back, and the old lady's like, did you see him? Did you see Gene? And she's like, no, I didn't see nothing. Get out, blah, blah, blah. And she leaves. She goes to the bar, and the homeless guy is like, I told her it was going to start raining. Something's going to happen. So it's setting up for the story. I think it's going to be pretty cool. I'm not a big dude in magic stuff. But I'm interested to see where this goes because there's a lot of heart in it. There's again, family conflict. The mom wants to reconnect with the daughter. She's dying. The daughter is angry. And it's Jeff Lemire. So, we get this and we get Absolute Flash from him when it comes out. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, that's it. What else you got, Hector? Surprise. I told you wouldn't have that one. You're not going to have none of these.
No. I'm going to do another one that I'm not picking. I'm just going to mention that it exists. Unless this is on yours.
No, I guarantee you're not.
Firefly #1, Malcolm Reynolds year 1.
Well, all right then.
I'm not saying it's one I pick, but I'm saying this is a like 18-year-old Malcolm Reynolds.
There you go.
And you get a Firefly year 1 story of how Malcolm Reynolds gets involved. As he joins the
brown coats.
No.
Oh yeah, he's with the bad dudes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
As he joins, what's the other people?
I don't know. 2x2
the
hands
Alliance.
of blue. Yeah, the Alliance.
Yeah,
Hmm.
as he joins the Alliance
That's it. Yeah.
because
Okay.
he gets caught doing some petty crime, and they're like, you can join the military or you can go to jail.
Do you know, I watched the stupid movie before I knew it was a TV show.
I get that. A lot of people probably did.
That was horrible. Horrible. Anyway,
It changes the landscape. It does.
it does
But so
100%.
that's not my pick, but that does exist for you brown coats that might have missed this. Firefly #1, Malcolm Reynolds year one. It's pretty cool. I don't know, man.
What do you got? You going to pick one? Come on, just lay it on me.
Well, I feel lame. This is gonna be like a.
No, don't. It's okay. There's nothing lame. Everyone loves something.
It's not even that I love it. It's just like there. It's all kind of across the board. Um. Uh. I'll go with All In, unless you were doing that one.
Nope, that's fine.
Okay. This was probably the best thing I read for the whole, if maybe close to it. The All In special #1, just for the sheer bat crap crazy concepts that are in it. Um,
Isn't that true?
yeah, like this literally looks like somebody put like shuffle on DC ideas. But what struck me is this feels like the 52 era.
Yeah, I can see that.
This feels a lot like I could have picked this up with Grant Morrison writing and any of that time period for 52. But essentially, the concept is because the Justice League's been gone for what, 2 years now?
Right. Hmm.
And this starts with the reconstruction of the Justice League. And to my understanding, it's the because I could absolutely be wrong on this. It's the first time we hear Justice League Unlimited
Pretty much, yes. This is the
in
this is the cartoon.
a canonic fashion.
Yes, yes.
So they don't just install the Justice League again, they do the Justice League Unlimited, where they bring in everybody and it focuses on Booster Gold. And then part of
Yeah,
the
he's
plot,
going to end up being the center of all this stuff, this
which
absolute universe and everything.
which is really why it felt like 52, because that's the
Yeah.
last time Booster had a solid storyline.
Hmm.
Um, but then all of a sudden, now you read this, right?
I did. It's a flip book.
And it's the flip book. The flip book, it, depending on which side you read,
I
could
read the superheroes first, and I
Yeah.
think I would have been better served if I'd have read the dark side first.
Right. Me too. I feel like it translates better story, but I definitely enjoyed the storytelling more with the
Mhm.
heroes. But all of a sudden, in the middle of all the chaos, Darkseid emerges on the Watchtower, merged with the Spectre.
Yeah,
And if there's a concept that doesn't make your leg
should-
hair stand up, you're
that's it.
that's it. But you've got Darkseid with an axe arm merged with the Spectre, and all
Yes.
chaos is breaking loose. Now on the flip side, it's the story of how Darkseid merged with the Spectre
Right.
and did all that. This was bonkers to read. It was fun. It was,
But it made sense.
it did make sense, and it wasn't like ugh. I was like, yes, they are jumping some sharks, but only at certain levels. And honestly, it was nice to see that level of a Justice League again. Because listen, I think one of my favorite things of reading modern day comics was that McDuffie Meltzer run of Justice League, when they were putting the Justice League together and reestablishing it, and all the icon, like the imagery that's so iconic from like 2009 2010.
Mhm.
This was nice to see them do the roster thing of going down and like inviting members and seeing
Yeah, it was
Dame.
funny. Yeah, because Booster's like, I'm getting invited. Who else is in the group? And he's like, everybody.
Yeah. He's like, which other five are in it?
Yes.
And then to see Damian just like flick it away, like no. And
that was fun too.
So
Did you catch the different they touch on this, that now certain superheroes have different powers.
Yes.
Like Black Canary now has heat vision. And if you look in one panel, it shows Plastic Man and he's literally half invisible. And then they talk about, we don't even know where some of the powers went or who has them.
Yes, because it's coming out of all or the power.
The multiverse. Yeah. Sending all the powers back.
Yeah.
to the people. They got like a little shuffle of what happened. I do like the fact that in the absolute universe, I guess is what they're saying. Like the instead of the Legionnaire rings, they all had like the Omega, the dark side rings. So who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's basically the end of absolute power. Are you happy now? It's all over.
Guess.
Yeah. I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
I tell you, a cool thing about it is in the Green Lantern, they had a Green Lantern special. I did not bring it up here. It was pretty good. It was written by Williamson and Adams both. And it's basically kicking off the next Green Lantern story. But one of the Amazos that was in Amanda Waller's group, they called the Jade Stone, was like the first Amazo to have like a met with Jay Garrick in the comics and like started to think for itself, has now joined the Green Lantern family basically. So
Oh,
one of
nice.
those, yeah, it's pretty cool. So yeah, you got Jade Stone in that group. All right, cool. Well, my next book is DC. Oh, wait, Hector just did that one. So I'm going to go with the Ultimates issue. What issue is it? Where do they put the freaking issue numbers on these? Issue five. I'm loving the Ultimates books. We're now 14 months until the maker comes back. I've went off the deep end and I've been reading everything about the maker just because it's Reed Richards gone crazy and I'm a Fantastic Four junkie. Um, this is the introduction of Hawkeye into the Ultimate Universe. You come to find out that Tony Stark had given the Hawkeye equipment to Clint Barton and he threw it in the trash and said, I don't want it. And a Native American Indian picked it up and went to work blowing up anything that Roxxon had because they're tearing up the environment. They're taking over the land of his people. And Tony asks Captain America to go and get the stuff back from him. And it's literally Cap going there to talk to this young kid who's amazing with the bow and arrow. And it's not, Cap doesn't really go there to take that away from him, but basically to say, listen, I believe in what you're doing and let's join together. And so it has a lot of cool stuff in it. It's like he gets ready to use an arrow and it tells you what the arrow is. And then it's like, like taser arrow and all these different arrows. It's a fun little book. And so they are gradually getting their Avengers team together for the countdown. Yeah, there you go.
Countdown to
Ultimates
what?
5.
Oh, the maker.
The maker coming back out. Yeah. So, so they're giving them about maybe a year and a half to tell their stories, maybe. And I don't know if you know this or not, but the Absolute Universe, they're saying that they're giving them 2 years. They're going to have 2 years to tell stories without any crossovers, basically. And Snyder and the dude who's writing Absolute Batman is supposedly going to be there for at least 2 years on these books.
Okay.
That's huge. Yeah,
That's a big thing.
it is a big thing. All right. What do you got, Hector?
I will say this. Batman 153 was better than a lot of the standalone Batmans lately.
What about it? It's kicking off something new, man.
It is. It's kicking off a new storyline. It's laying some really good foundation work. This is I feel like this is solid, but just for the sake of diverting from other things. So if you want to do that one, go for it. I'm just gonna say
And
good.
I'll tell you what else was good. I picked it up. I didn't because I had taken it off my list, but the Batman and Robin book was good.
I didn't take it off my list, and they didn't give it to me.
Oh, it was good. It's got a really good. So it's going to go back on.
Okay.
Anywho, yeah.
All
All right.
right.
What else you got?
I guess it changed something in the titling by like a smidge.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Um, and the computer system at my comic shop is so legalistic
Oh, wow.
that if an asterisk or a comma changes, it's out.
They won't know what to do with the Thunderbolts Asterix movie.
Right. So for the sake of kicks and giggles, I'm just going to mention and say the I know what you did last crisis.
All right, let's get into this.
And so this is their Halloween special, effectively. Um, and it's an anthology book of horror stories, but each story takes place at a different DC crisis.
Right.
And I'm going to give this credit, not because it was the best book I read or even because Batman 153 is better than this. But this is creative in the fact that we get to revisit Infinite Crisis, Final Crisis, Blackest
Mhm.
Night, and other crises that came before it, Crisis over with Infinite Earths. We get revisited stories in those worlds. I thought that was creative.
Yeah.
So
The
that was,
deal is Dan Didio came back and wrote one of the stories.
I didn't even notice that. Which one do you write?
He wrote the one where Nightwing was supposed to die. Where John Kent lived instead of Connor Kent lived instead of the other way around in Dark Crisis. This is part of the reason why he was canned at DC. So he came back to write the story that he wanted to happen to lead into Future State. His deal was Nightwing was supposed to be killed off. And that's what made all of the main heroes, the Batman, the Wonder Woman, Superman, to relinquish their roles to allow a new generation to come forward. And that there would be a new golden age of superheroes with new generations of characters. And he literally came back for that story
Just to kill him.
just to kill him, just to kill Nightwing. And it's funny because he's talking to Connor, I think, or is it Connor that he's talking to in it, who's got a hood over his head and everything like that. And you're supposed to think he's talking to Dan Didio. So if you listen to what he says to him and his responses, so yeah,
That's creative. I appreciate that.
that is creative. Yeah. All right, man. We're going to do new number ones.
Yeah, I guess so. Go for it.
All right. My new number one is Hyde Street by Image. This is the Ghost Machine imprint, which has already gone back for a second printing. This is the horror story, the horror anthology that's going to be printed out. It's written by Jeff Johns, and it is about a street where people just live on. And what happens is that if someone has done something terrible in their life and they've gotten away with it, once they walk on Hyde Street, they are ferried to their doom, basically. And you come to find out that there are a bunch of players on Hyde Street, and they are getting credit for the amount of people they ferried to their doom. And there's like a competition. There's one guy who's called Mr. X-Ray who got suckered into being there, and he wants out, but he's being beaten in the amount of people that he brings to their peril by some little demon kid or whatever. But this is their horror imprint for the Ghost Machine books. It's called Hyde Street. The main story was this little old lady who needed help. She's carrying groceries, and this little kid comes up to her, looks like a Boy Scout. It's like, I'll help you across the street. But then you come to find out that she had like slowly poisoned and killed her husband, and the same thing with her cat or something of that nature. I don't know. And she meets her demise. So fun little book.
All right.
Yeah. New universe.
Hmm.
All right. What's your number one, Hector?
Well, since you told me I needed to do it,
Well, if you don't do it, we can all do it at the end. We'll do it at the end.
No, I'm doing it.
All right.
Because all I had left was Nice House, Fantastic Four, which I need to kill.
It's just, I'm sorry. I want to apologize for that. It's like they're just the Fantastic Four book right now. That's like they're waiting. They're just biding time until the One Nation Under Doom.
Yeah.
So
I also got Poison Ivy,
good.
and Plastic Man #2. Poison Ivy was fine.
And if you noticed in the Batman book, they mentioned the Poison Ivy book.
Yeah. They do.
So yeah. Anyway, all right.
Absolute Batman number one. Um, this was good. This was a good story. It was interesting. It had enough diversity of where I knew where stuff was happening. Like I could follow along, but I didn't know everything. Um, they make black
Yes.
they make Black Mask scary, which is
Yes, I didn't
great.
even realize that was Black Mask.
Yeah, they make Black Mask pretty terrifying. They give us Batman, but without the millionaire budget.
Yes,
Um,
but it was very interesting how they did it.
yeah,
Like, why does he know all about this stuff? Why does he have all, well, because he worked in the sewer department for 2 years. He worked in the electric department for, all this kind of stuff.
he has all instead of traveling the world being trained in privilege, he worked in different departments. He learned engineering as a kid. He worked in the different departments. Um, and uh his parents weren't murdered as a child. His dad died saving him and a bunch of other kids because he was a teacher, and his mom's still alive.
Yeah.
And so that plays a really interesting role. Alfred is a gangster. Like, he's just a bad man.
Is he a gangster or is he like a
Oh no,
spy?
I meant that in the term of like
Oh yeah, he's gangster.
he's gangster.
Yeah,
But
like
no, he's
I love Alfred. It's
no Alfred in this.
it's awesome.
It may be the coolest Alfred I've ever seen. So
Yeah.
Mike Perna, you want
Uh-huh.
to read this with your
This is
Alfred fixation.
this is
Um,
great.
this was Alfred at his most ferocious I've seen. Um, uh, they tease a lot of good stuff. They Bruce is very much a Chad in this.
Hey, what?
Like big clunky, like
Oh
ugh.
yeah. Yeah.
Um,
100%.
you've got that he's actually childhood friends with most of his rogues gallery.
All of them. All of them. The little picture. There's a
Yeah,
picture of them as children. I love the fact that Killer Croc literally has a crocodile.
yeah. He's just a dude. He's not a anamorphic human
No.
figure, but he's opening an exotic petting
Yeah.
zoo
Yes.
with Oswald.
Yes.
And it's just creative. It's fun. Black Mask is genuinely terrifying,
Yeah,
and he
that's
makes
creepy.
death masks of people. And somebody else pointed out, they he has a death mask of Martin Luther, not King Jr.,
Martin
Martin Luther.
Luther. Yeah,
Like,
like he put his thesis on the door.
yeah. So I was like, oh, I didn't expect
I didn't see
theology.
that.
You didn't see that?
I saw all the things, but I didn't realize it was Martin Luther.
He's no, there's a whole panel on it.
I'd completely missed. I have to go back and read it.
Yeah, you do. Um,
This was
he's
surprisingly good.
Yes, it was surprisingly good. He says, and not just any masks, death masks. I collect them. That one is rumored to be Socrates himself.
Oh, I did see that.
Only two exist in the world. One is mycelium gold, and the other one of virgin marble dust. That's Martin Luther to your
I
left. One of a
completely
kind, made of
didn't see.
beeswax and pine resin.
Wow.
Oh,
Well, don't get that too close to the heat.
that's George Washington. There, gypsum plaster, Virginia's own quarries. So literally, he's got Socrates, Martin Luther, and George Washington. I just thought that was an eclectic
That is an eclectic. That is,
combo.
yeah, that is crazy.
And the if I don't know if you're of that era, Batman's combat style in this book reminds me of the Max.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think he looks a little bit like it.
Yeah,
When he walks on it, it's funny because they were like, "Oh, bats walk on their arms," and I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm a little batty or whatever." But I love the combat. And the functionality of the bat symbol as an axe works.
it really does. You see him just kind of screw it on and like go to town. Um, and
And
then
then the very end of the book,
yeah, well, at the very end, but also Bruce and Alfred's confrontation with the shotgun.
yes,
Nice.
you made it non-lethal,
Yeah, it was great.
and you
Like,
stole my bike.
yeah, this was dope, man. I enjoyed this one a lot. I was surprised by it, and you know,
Did you like that they mentioned all the different names for the Joker? They called him Arthur. Like
I think I missed that. I think I
that's
was
at the very end.
losing interest.
They said he's he goes, what's his name? Well, I don't know. He goes by Arthur this. I can't remember what the other because
Jack Arthur. I don't know his
yeah,
real name. Yeah.
yeah. But they call him the Joker because he never laughs. So that was funny though that you get two movies right there.
Yeah.
So
that was
I'm excited for this. I'm excited for this, honestly.
Yeah,
and
I'll say this: if the other two books are as good as that, it's gonna be a field day for DC Comics.
We're gonna get a bunch of absolute books. We're getting Wonder Woman, Princess of Hell, basically, Superman. Then we're gonna get the Flash. We're gonna get Metamorpho. I'm not for sure what else, but just those right there. I'm all for it. I'm interested. What's the absolute powered Metamorpho going to be? But yeah.
So there you go, man. That's it.
That's all I got.
That's all the pulls.
Here's my backups.
Okay, go for it.
Amazing Spider-Man 59, the amazing battle at the end, and Tombstone beats the snot out of him, and he's like, all this just to save my daughter. And he goes, I didn't do it just to save your daughter. I did it to save you, but anyway, the battle's amazing. And then, I had the moon is following us, but maybe we'll talk about that when the next issue comes out.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, Todd, I want to say thank you for taking the past couple months to be on the pull list and with your fantastic comic book. I believe this is going to be Todd's last
for a little while
co-hosting. I want to say thank you to Todd, and if you're listening, make sure you let Todd know on Discord or wherever you feel appropriate. Let him know how much you appreciate him in the comment sections, and send him books and Ale 8 and Kentucky Chicken.
Kentucky Chicken. Lee's.
There you go. That's the appropriate chicken.
Lee's chicken strips.
But let him know you've appreciated him being here, Todd. It's been a blessing to get to actually have a conversation with you on a pseudo regular basis.
I know, it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
But as we mentioned, we are a part of a podcast network with Love Thy Nerd that you can find a lot more episodes and shows across the vast array that LTN provides, from the radio to the Glue Network to YouTube to all the places. So make sure you check out all of the appropriate the episodes, and like, subscribe, rate, review, and all of those things, so that we can keep doing this and have the opportunity to be here. But appreciate you, Todd. Appreciate you, y'all that listen and watch. And remember, kids, read more
comics.